Check out the Comic Outlaw on YouTube. Drop us a like, a subscribe, and hit us up. And it is my absolute pleasure to present to you one of my favorite villains of all time. Meet Doctor Doom, Fantastic Four, number 5, issue 5. And will the Fantastic Four be able to survive their first encounter with a man known as Victor Von Doom? Yes, Doom, one of my absolute favorite characters, and it is my absolute pleasure to bring him to you, as Doom is plotting his plans, his maniacal plans of villainy, you could say, as he's been plotting his vengeance for a long time against Reed Richards, and all who stand with Reed Richards, and that is the Fantastic Four, as Doom heads off in his helicopter to make his nefarious plans. And at the Baxter Building, of course, Johnny Storm is reading an issue of Hulk, and I think that's kind of funny. He's comparing how ugly Thing is to Hulk. A fight ensues, of course, and it ends up birthing a priceless, Incredible Hulk issue 1. Man, casualties of war, y'all. And as they fight, Reed and Sue break them up. And this is what they do. They fight and fight. Doom comes out of nowhere and drops a net. Yes, a gigantic net on the building. And as the Fantastic Four soon find out, this is no ordinary net. This net is fireproof. And Reed realizes who this is, the voice. He knows the voice. He was a student who tried reaching the nether realm and was unsuccessful in his experiment. The explosion ended up scarring his face, and Doom had disappeared on a voyage to touch the nether realm, both a man of science and magic. He will stop at nothing to have his vengeance. And as Thing reaches out and pulls on the net, he realizes it's electrocuted. Doom tells the Fantastic Four to send out Sue as a hostage, so he can continue with his nefarious schemes that involve Reed, Johnny, and of course Benjamin J. Grimm. We pick up right now, and they're trapped by Doom. And they're trying to figure out what they're going to do, if they're going to go along with the plan, or if they're going to shoot Doom. And they're basically just brainstorming here. They're not really getting along, but they do sort of have a plan. They decide to roll with it and see where Doom takes them. Of course, Sue is tied up. They get into this cage and they fly off to Doom's castle. And nobody does hideouts like Doom. That man knows how to big ball and shot call wherever he goes. That's why Doom, one of the many reasons Doom is one of the greatest villains in the Marvel Universe, period. And of course, Doom is sitting on his lavish throne, Tiger by his side, blonde as well, and he explains to him that he needs them to go back in time to pick up some gems that were once supposedly held by Merlin. Of course, he can't go because someone has to run the time machine, and that's why he's sending his little work monkeys to go do his bidding. And Doom sends them off in time into a land of pirates, into a land of boats and sailing, to the time of Blackbeard. And of course, the Fantastic Four needs to acquire clothes, so they basically borrow from those who can afford it. They make Ben up, with a wig, a beard, eye patch, hat. And he finds out he kind of likes it here. People are not looking at him like a monster, and it's a little bit different from his situation, in the modern age. And they're drinking, they're sampling the local cuisine, and someone ends up drugging them. They end up passed out. And of course, Thing, having a bender or two in his lifetime, wakes up and realizes what's going on. They've been shanghaied, captured by these pirates for many different reasons, possibly for hostage, ransom, be part of the crew. You never know with pirates, y'all. And Thing busts loose and he begins wrecking the place. And I love this quote by Johnny. 20 against Thing, they're outnumbered. And yes, they are. Reed joins in the fight, gets a shot in here and there, and so does Johnny Storm. And this is the start of Storm's powers and how they develop. Someone takes a swing at him with a sword, he grabs it, flame on, and melts it. And of course, they throw the captain off, and Ben decides that he should be captain. Captain Benjamin J. Grimm, y'all, the Thing. And as Captain Thing and the other members of the Fantastic Four decide to raid that ship that has the treasure they need. And Human Torch just goes at him. I mean, he's a flaming guy. Basically, that ship's all wood. So, and I like to take this time to say that he's the second Human Torch. The first Human Torch came out in the 40s. He's a member of the Invaders. Of course, Reed tells him to dive in deep. The steam from his flaming body in the ocean gives them the cover they need for Reed to sort of use himself as a bridge. Thing grabs onto the mast, and with his crew of pirates, they overtake the other ship, and Captain Thing takes the treasure and is held as a hero by his shipmates. And Thing is just loving this. Of course, Reed gets the bright idea to take the jewels out, dump them, and fill the chest up with iron chains. It's kind of a big screw you to Doom, just in case, you know. And Thing, just wrapped up in the power and just wanting to stay, feeling normal here, decides that he's going to be Captain Thing forever, and has Johnny tied up and Reed disposed of as well. And then the fickle finger of fate decides to flip off Benjamin J. Grimm, and a twister appears and destroys the ship. And of course, Reed escapes, ends up saving Johnny, and Thing washes to shore. And this is where Benjamin apologizes. You know, he got caught up with being a pirate, and, you know, the money, and, you know, being accepted and everything. And of course, Doom calls him back that 48 hours is up. He brings back his little time monkeys, and Doom asks them if they have the chest. And Reed provides it to him, of course. And Doom finds out the chest is empty, of course. You know, like, he's Dr. Doom, of course. And he decides to punish them. And I love how he goes at it with Thing. Thing takes a shot, and this is the first of many Doom bots. We find out that Doom stashed himself away in another part of the room, and he's slowly sucking the oxygen out of this one. And he forgot one thing. Susan Storm, hiding out. She escaped, and she blows up his equipment, runs down there, opens the door, and saves her other team members. Yep, Susan Storm's the hero in this one, y'all. But they still have to escape Doom's fortress. And of course, Reed kind of pulls himself out, stretches himself into a rock, and then pulls the wall off. And as they escape, Storm flies out looking for Doom, and he gets an idea, something he's been wanting to try. He uses his powers and flies around the castle. And you'll see it right now. He does a circle of flame to make sure Doom doesn't escape, but he escapes anyways. He has a rocket booster, power of flight, and he just outclasses Johnny Storm. He's just absolutely faster. He leaves them in the dust. Storm's powers kind of putter out, and Doom escapes. And is this the last we've heard of him? And we'll find out the next time. And as always, I'll catch you on the flip side. Laters.